Hang in there. That's Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show.
Welcome back to another episode of The Smylie Show. I'm Charlie Hulme. He is, of course, Smylie Kaufman, who is just back from a little event at Troubadour in Nashville that we're going to dig into later in the episode. Smylie, give us some opening thoughts. Let's break tradition here. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Had a great weekend. Weekend would be it was super chill. Like the event was on Wednesday, Thursday,
the
Friday.
Pictures. I don't know if the pictures were super chill, but they were something.
That's what I was getting to. Was that the weekend here in Birmingham was super chill because of how much fun Nashville was. I mean, just the best time for the Justin Thomas Foundation event that he put on at Troubadour. So, I mean, for those that have been there, they know how great of a place Troubadour is, and just had such a good group of guys that showed up. Played some golf. Actually, didn't play too bad. But yeah, I can give you the full rundown if you want to get right into it.
Well, here's what I was going to say. Is first of all, love to hear that you're playing well, because you and I are headed off to Tobacco Road in a few days here to shoot our first piece of fall golf content for our YouTube that we're thrilled about. So that bodes well for us, putting a good score together as we kind of, get back into the swing of things. Our first encore shoot since Pebble Beach back in February, whenever that was, beginning of the year. We got a ton of golf for a fall weekend. We had a wild finish at the Irish Open, heartbreak for Rory McIlroy once again. We have Team USA reclaiming the Solheim Cup, a thriller of a finish there as well. We have Patton Kizzire just won the Procore Championship, a huge turnaround from where he ended up last fall into 2023 outside the top 25, 125. So super cool for him. And also a bunch of President's Cup guys to talk about who played in this field as well as to kind of tune up for that competition. We've got the LIV Chicago individual championship, Jon Rahm winning there, implications for who's staying, who's going next season. We have, of course, the aforementioned Justin Thomas Foundation event at Troubadour. We have a TikTok I saw of Jane's Addiction getting into a fight on the stage. And we have the North Carolina Tar Heels quarterback situation. So for the first time on the Smylie Show, we're going to spin the wheel, the rundown wheel. We're going to see where it lands. Okay, so here we go.
Great. Let's go.
What do you know? Landed on UNC quarterback situation. I don't control these things. It lands where it lands, so we just got to run with this. Smylie, do you have any thoughts on North Carolina's quarterback situation before I dive in?
Well, I saw that Max Johnson's going to be returning for 2025, so I got really excited for you in that regard. But yeah, nothing to say because I don't know who the quarterbacks are.
We have a quarterback, Smylie. We have a QB1. We played North Carolina Central. Don't look up what conference they're in or what their win-loss record is. Just know that it's a tough regional game. A lot of passion, a lot on the line. Jacoby Criswell, he's back. Back in the saddle.
Did you say Griswold?
Criswell, or Chris for short.
It's Griswold.
Yeah, Jacoby Griswold. Narrowly lost the quarterback competition to Drake May, transferred to Arkansas, had maybe he transferred back, and he was the third stringer coming out of camp and had maybe the best excuse of all time. This is a quote from him. He said, Criswell said he lost 15 pounds since returning to UNC and that he's willing to lose more if the team needs him to. He said he had to gain weight to play in Arkansas's offense, so he began the process of shedding that weight after coming back to North Carolina. I also had to gain a lot of weight just in case Arkansas needed me to chip in for their offense. So same page there, Jacoby. But he came in. We had a rough start to the game. I'm not writing off Connor Harrell, but wasn't what we wanted to see in the absence of Max Johnson. Jacoby was running the offense. He was looking good out there. So I think at this point, Smylie, it's CFP or bust. I think we're in the playoff.
Dude, you're going to be in the Mayo Bowl. And it's I need to get this. You're going to be probably playing South Carolina again. It's just going to be a rematch every year. North Carolina, South Carolina, Mayo Bowl.
It's I love Duke's Mayo. I love the occasional visit to Charlotte. Please, for the love of God, can we play in just a different bowl? I'm done with Mayo and the Bank of America Stadium. I really would love to avoid that fate. How about your boys?
Yeah.
How about your boys?
Listen, being an LSU fan, you have tons of highs and lows with any sport that you follow with LSU. In this game against South Carolina was probably the most highs and lows of any LSU game that I've experienced. Outside of any big game where you already have that heightened sense of just the swings, right? And it was wild. I can't believe we won. We definitely had some calls go our way for sure, but I thought the refs were just atrocious in general. But it's hard to win on the road. So good for our guys not to be in that conversation with Florida State is just full, like, hit the panic button. So
dude, what?
It's funny that like winning can be contagious. And I think we got 2 layups coming up with UCLA and South Alabama. I'm hoping that heading into a bye, we can somehow get a team together to go and try to beat Ole Miss at home, which hopefully I'll be there for.
Dude, what is happening to Florida State?
Do you know they just hit their season win total under? In the first,
did they really?
In week 3?
Week 3, 0-3. I can't fathom that. I guess I need to watch more of their games. Maybe I don't because it sounds brutal. But like, is DJU this bad? What I can't fathom.
I don't know. I can't believe they played brutal. Memphis. Like, was that scheduled after Norvell? What do you think went to? Surely it was.
No, because Norvell's in his like 4th or 5th year at this point.
Sometimes those things get scheduled way in advance, right? Like it could be 8 to 9 years, right? Where these games are scheduled way out.
But is Memphis at home really that tough of a game? Like, are we sharping out? Wow.
I just think it's interesting that like Norvell lost to the team that he left, and I didn't know if that Memphis said, you know what, maybe when the contract thing was going up, they said, you know what, you can go, but you have to play us in X year.
Could be.
I don't know.
Yeah,
VCU was that way with Will Wade when he left to go to LSU. But so if Norvell was under contract with Memphis and took the job, that could have been a caveat.
They're past panic button. They're just like they're restart the game button. Like, just get me out of here. I need to not be playing football anymore. That's a real shocker. But listen, that's actually here's my nice little segues because college football tailgating the vibe. By the way, I made your snacks again this weekend. Made the Southern Charcuterie.
Did you make it the right way?
I used the remainder of what I had left over. Okay. So it's the wrong way. But everyone loved them. This is going to be my new like go-to. I need like a go-to tailgate move. I didn't really have one other than just kind of bringing, Happy Dad seltzers in a cooler. Like, that's pretty generic as far as that goes. Other guys grilling stuff, bringing, chicken fingers, whatever. So this is my go-to thing now. I'm the Southern Charcuterie guy. And my buddy Rob Christensen tells me he's got a place. He's got a Publix. I'm actually risking at this point of putting too many people on this who are going to beat me to get the Conecuh. He's like, there's a Publix in Cary. You got to call ahead. The Conecuh sells out in less than 24 hours.
See, that's what I'm telling you, man. Is that Conecuh is ridiculously good.
It's apparently it's like the highest demand thing that they carry. I didn't know anything about it before. So he said, next time we're going to do it where he's going to bring the grill. We're going to grill the Conecuh, take it right off the grill, slice it up. Yeah. Go hot Conecuh on the. If you have no idea what we're talking about, this was towards the end of Smiley's mailbag last week. And we also posted on our social media of a Smiley's favorite tailgate snack that's like a cracker, pimento cheese, Conecuh sausage, which Smiley's told us is an Alabama delicacy, and then a Wickle on top, and it is so good. Try it out. So anyway, got lost in the mailbag there a little bit, but the place I was trying to take us was
you got lost in the Wickle jar there, buddy.
I got lost in the Wickle jar. I got lost in Conecuh land. I was attempting to take us from there to your weekend in Nashville because that felt like college football tailgate-esque type of fun. And I got one picture that I'm not going to describe. I'll let you describe everything that happened this weekend, but that was enough for me to know that I needed to know about this weekend.
Oh yeah. Okay, I remember what I said to you. Yes.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on Sports Grid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Sports Grid.
Talk about your freshman year at Alabama and even the redshirt year that got you ready to perform at the highest level.
You had to learn a lot about humility, about being patient to play at Alabama, and you still knew that you're going to have a shot to win a championship every year. And so that's the line. And so I think that's what's really missing with today's football. You got NIL, you got social media.
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Dial me in here on the weekend in Nashville at Troubadour for JT's Foundation.
End of the week.
That's right.
End of the week in Nashville. So we leave Wednesday morning and get there, I'd say like just after lunch. And we had golf scheduled that afternoon. Had no idea who I was going to be playing with. Called one of my buddies who's good friends with Justin Thomas, played golf with him in Alabama, Willie Sellers, lives in Nashville. And he used to work for Discovery Land. So like he was the guy to be like, hey, you want to go play? And luckily he was like, yeah, let's go do it. So Willie and I meet out there. I show up, I have lunch with Sam Burns and his wife, and then Francie and I, and then Jill, Justin's wife. So we all have lunch. There was a big group of like 8 guys out there playing on the golf course. And that's where Willie went straight to go out to play with that group, which was like Luke Bryan was in that group, I think. And a bunch of other people too. But eventually like I texted Willie, it's like, we're teeing off at 2:00. Come on. And so we had 9 guys at 2:00, and it was Sam and I. It was Willie and his brother Doug, and Doug and I rode in the same cart. And we had, one of Sam's buddies, Walker. We had Mike Thomas playing, which was great. Then we had Victor Hovland there out of nowhere. He was getting work done with Joe Mayo, so Victor's there. And so
is he there in a foundation capacity or
no,
just for fun?
He was just there getting work done with Joe Mayo. Like he just showed up on the tee right as like there's 15 golf carts on this first tee, and Victor shows up. I'm like, Vic, come on, buddy, let's go tee it up. And so Victor's now playing, and Morgan Wallen's playing. So like,
it's just amazing.
We just have this like great crew with, and then and Cole Swindell. So we got to have like 2 country guys going at each other, right?
Yeah.
So what we decided to do, because the first hole we're like, okay, 5v4 scramble with 1 ball, and then we realized, okay, we're gonna birdie every single hole doing this, and not everybody's gonna get to play. So we decided to do pick your best 2 golf balls. And then you can assign 3 to, so the 5-man team could assign 3 to one of those golf balls, and then 2 to the other. Or the 4-man team, which was me, Victor, Mike Thomas, and Willie Sellers' brother Doug. So it was us 4 versus the other 5, and we had a great match. Actually, we played automatic 1-downs, so it was. I mean, it was. Luckily, we had 5 bets at the end. Somehow we ended up scratch. I was a scorecard guy, so like I'm a big like call it even at the end anyway. So I was the perfect keeping the scorecard guy for this situation. But just had a great time playing golf on that day. You know, at one point, I think this was the highlight of that day, right? So anytime you get like a country music station going, like on Spotify, and once you get past like your songs that maybe you'd already clicked, it just basically goes into a Morgan Wallen playlist. And so at one point, you know, you got all the cards like in there, you know, you got kind of golf carts everywhere in the fairways, right? Because you got 4 different golf balls you're playing. And Doug looked at me, he's like, I think I hear 5 different carts playing a different Morgan Wallen song right now. And I was like,
and Morgan Wallen's in one of those carts.
And he's in one of those carts. It's like, this is hilarious. And by the way, got to give a shout out to Wallen. His game has gotten much better since the last time I played with him.
What's like his handicap roughly? Like if you had to guess.
We played him as a 10.
Okay. So he could get it around.
And this was just the front 9. So this is the front 9. And now we go to the back where I would say, so the back 9, it was Golden Tate showed up on the 9th hole and he joined us on the back. So it was Golden and Cole Swindell and Golden and Wallen and I. And I think Cole and I played Golden and Morgan. That's right. That sounds right.
Okay.
And we whooped up on them. And then Ricky showed up. So now Ricky Fowler's here on the same time that Cole Swindell leaves. So now we get a new game. So Ricky was...
This is still a back now? This is like the middle of the back.
This is like the 15th hole.
Okay, all right.
So now we're on 15.
Cole leaves, Ricky's in on the 15th. Got it.
So that little 4-hole bet, myself and Swindell won. And then Cole leaves. So now Ricky and I can't be on the same team. So we flipped tees for partners then. And I believe it was Golden and I played Morgan and Ricky, which we won. I think.
Great day at the office for you.
Yeah.
Just cleaning up.
I played well. I could not believe it. I had all the bad thoughts heading on that 3-hour drive up to Nashville, and just really, with Joe Mayo behind all these people on these tee boxes, and I really brought my stuff. I was surprised myself.
What was driving accuracy good? Like were we?
I went back like that night, and I was telling Fran, I was like, I don't think I missed a fairway. So.
Hold on a second.
I drove it great, dude. I didn't miss a fairway, I don't think.
That's it. Like if we have no high odds,
I didn't high on one shot.
We're there.
I did not high on one shot. But the next morning, and we go out. So Wednesday night was chill. Thursday morning we pushed it up because of the hurricane, and so Thursday morning we go out.
And is this is the official?
This is the
foundation
event,
Got it.
which I'll give you the guys that were playing. Let's see. I got it right here. Here we go. It was Francie just sent me a picture of everybody. So
do you want me to read the names on the picture I'm looking at right now that you texted me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I'm looking at Nick Dunlap, Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, Tom Kim, Smylie Kaufman, Sam Burns, Ricky Fowler, and Jason Duffner. That's a good looking photo right there.
And the other celebrities that played in the deal that day were Cole Swindell and Kane Brown, country music guy. So he was. I don't think I'm missing another guy, but that was the group. And basically, it was just a typical pro-am. You play 9 holes with one group, play 9 holes with another group. The funny part about just the golf that day in general was, I show up kind of late to my tee on like number 12. And, when you show up after a day where you just hit everything great, and then you have this kind of sketchy range session, then you start to wonder, like, what happened yesterday? How did I kind of piece this thing together? And am I ready for pro-am golf? Like, am I ready to be the pro? And I get up there, all the guys have already hit. And it was it wasn't a high yaw, but it definitely was one that was caught near the heel and was heading that way.
it's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was
Lincoln!
But he had that program was already going there.
Only on Sports Grid.
Talk about your freshman year at Alabama and even the redshirt year that got you ready to perform at the highest level.
You had to learn a lot about humility, about being patient to play at Alabama, and you still knew that you're going to have a shot to win a championship every year. And so that's the line. And so I think like that's what's really missing with today's football. You got NIL, you got social media.
The Early Line. Only on Sports Grid.
Everyone had him Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. Bears are going to the Super Bowl. Eberflus Coach of the Year. He was terrible.
If he's going to be a success, he's got to play within structure as much as possible. I get it. If the pocket breaks down, throw off the platform. That's fine. But within structure, when the play is there to be made, you need to make it, and he didn't do that.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on Sports Grid.
147 yards against the Jets and a touchdown? I mean, the numbers are incredible.
It's the Shanahan connection, and that's just what it feels like. And, Jordan Mason came into that game with a career 5.6 yards per carry. He's always been a very tough runner. He's always been good when called upon in small doses. You mentioned the yardage, which was impressive, but 28 carries. That's what I'm looking at.
Newswire. Only on Sports Grid.
Get to the next par 3 and I'm like, okay, surely like that was just a fluke. And then I a 7-iron, like just a similar type shot, just happened to be with the 7-iron. And so I get to the next tee and like my group's a little quiet at this point. They're like, holy crap, this guy's totally doesn't have it right now. And so get to this par 5 and all the trouble's right. And I get up there and hit driver down the right side of the fairway and hit 2-iron, like trouble all left and hit it on this like platformed green. And I was like, okay, we're good. And I played good the rest of the way.
Just need to get settled down a little bit. That's how that one goes sometimes. Good for you. Cause I mean, a lesser mortal would have just like melted down and been like, okay, let's back it in. Let's hit a lot of 2-irons off the tee the rest of the day.
Yeah. So the moral, or why are we talking about the pro-am? Like, why does anybody care? And the reason why you should care is that I was a part of a winning pro-am team. Tom Kim was the other pro. And it was funny. They had two teams that were tied. It was Tom and I versus, I don't know who the other two pros were. Fact of the matter was they couldn't figure out how to decide the playoff. So what they ultimately decided to do was to pick one person from each team to do Flip Cup. so I was like, guys, you can't have me do this, right? Because it's not fair. So you got to make sure you get an AM to do this. But I'm happy to explain to everybody in the crowd or the players that are going how it should be done. So of course I get up there, do my spiel. Unfortunately, didn't do one flipper. I think it was like a 3 or 4. So honestly, that's a tough scene. If you're gonna go up there and be the frat guy, it's like, oh, I played last weekend, which I haven't. I've played in 3 years, but got up there and thought I'd be able to handle that challenge, and unfortunately didn't like 3 or 4. But my guy won, and they go through the trophy presentation, and they're like, and for the pros, Tom Kim and Smylie Kaufman, you win a 12-year-old bottle of Pappy. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this was worth the trip.
And in these pictures, which I love these so much, like Tom Kim is holding this bottle of Pappy like it's the claret jug. Like he is elated to have won this. And all
everybody was so mad because I'm like 99% sure Tom Kim doesn't drink. So all the guys that are just like, this is ridiculous. Like, Tom, you do not go sell this. After all the events, guys that are up, just hanging out. Golden Tate and I decided to go and play pickleball very late in the evening against Sam Burns and Scotty Scheffler. And we played for 2 hours.
Okay. All right. Amazing. So same teams the entire time.
So
you were going against
Golden is really good at pickleball. He has like his own pickleball paddle coming out. We talked about this like on the course, like Golden, we need to play pickleball. So it was kind of like a seed was planted. And I think Golden like just kept bringing it up. Like, let's go play pickleball. Let's go play pickleball. And so eventually it was just, it's like there were 4 guys left and we're like, okay, let's go play pickleball.
And Scotty and Sam are like psychotic competitors, right? Like
I would say Scotty more so than like at that point, like Sam and I just picture us as the 2 guys that just wanted to fake injuries. Like we just wanted to go down and just like, cramp, just something to get us out of having to exercise. Cause we were both pretty tired. He's obviously got a 4-month-old who's hadn't been sleeping well that week. So he's already kind of tired, but when I went up here and played, because this hurricane's like still kind of like the remnants are still there. So we got a 25 mile an hour, 30 mile an hour crosswind off of the left and playing pickleball. And we probably played 7 games. And
this is in the night now, right? Like we're talking about under the lights.
We had golf carts on the court, lighting up the court.
Like this is late. This is like late at night. We're playing 2 hours of pickleball and a 25 mile per hour hurricane wind. Yeah, it's amazing. It's just amazing.
And so we get to play in pickleball, and I have a good serve, and that was something that like I was able to hang on to for a bit, and then I really started to struggle with just getting returns back.
Ooh,
and it was just mainly because the ball was moving so much. I had started to realize that Scotty may be the best pickleball player on tour, and potentially good enough to turn pro. And I don't say that lightly, because he's the best pickleball player I've ever played against. And after Sam and I bowed out, because we played however many games, and I don't know who, I would say that it was fairly even between the games. Maybe they won one more, maybe we won one more. I'm not really sure, because it was much more of a gambling deal than it was a series deal. It was like, hey, what are we playing this game for? So that was much more of the pickleball. And then Sam and I stopped playing, and then Golden and Scotty played. And hopefully we get Golden on the pod here pretty soon.
Please.
I'll let him tell the story of them 2 playing, because I don't want to give away the good stuff.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Sports Grid.
It's a new era in CFP to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was
thinking!
But he had that program was already going there!
Only on Sports Grid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. with 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Okay, I'm not going to use the wheel this time around. I'm going to let you decide where we want to go next. Do we want to do...
I mean, I watched the Irish Open today, so I kind of want to go there.
Let's please, because that... Okay, let's just start with this in the Irish Open before we get to the finish, because the finish was unreal. But how amazing is it seeing Royal County Down on television? I know it doesn't like fully do it justice, but just seeing a professional event at Royal County Down is just... I love that so much.
It's incredible, right? I just try to think about... I think a lot of people love watching the Masters because of the visuals and just that late light at the end of the day, watching guys come down the stretch and just think to yourself, man, I would love to stand on these grounds and just have an opportunity to see and what this place really looks like in person. And I got all of those feels watching Royal County Down. I just pictured myself being there, wanting to play this golf course. And yeah, it's number one on my list of golf courses I want to play. And for all of you that are listening or watching that have played, yeah, please tell me how great it was and how jealous I should be of you, because it really did look incredible. Some of the images I saw this week of Rory, playing, very, very close to home. I grew up an hour away, according to what they said on the coverage. So yeah, just had a blast watching it.
We talk a lot on the show about just the realities of professional golf. There's, of course, the pie in the sky scenario where we get to play all the places we want to and money's not an object. And then there are, of course, certain reasons why we have to go to certain places. Not necessarily that they're bad venues. It's just that they are, there's money behind it. There's sponsorship interests. There are things like that necessitate certain tournaments being in certain places and certain venues being used. I think it's so cool when you have an opportunity to go to a place like Royal County Down where it feels like none of that's attached. And it's just a pure form of golf. It's just a place that is, understand why we can't do it every single time. But this venue is exceptional. And this finish was exceptional today. I mean, I can't believe yet again we're looking at a Rory McIlroy National Open heartbreak, but Rasmus Højgaard finishes birdie to get this thing won. And on the other hand, Rory goes bogey, birdie, bogey, and narrowly misses an eagle putt, makes birdie, misses a playoff by a shot. So we were watching this, texting together. I mean, the 3-putt for me on 17 for Rory, I don't know how that happens like that.
Well, gosh, let's just kind of take in can we compare this to anything else? Like, does it feel like the US Open? Does it feel like the Open Championship at St. Andrews? And just kind of compare, what was today like as far as like closing a golf tournament, and was it as excruciating as some of those felt like they were? And today it just felt like, to me, when he had a 2-shot lead with 6 holes to go, and you look down the board and you're starting to think to yourself, he's like, man, I just don't see a world in which Rory doesn't win this golf tournament. And the Open Championship at St. Andrews, I would say that, the putter, he just wasn't hitting it close enough. And then the putter just went cold on him. And when we talk about the US Open, even speaking with Rory after, it seemed like he got a little caught up too much in the moment, lost focus on 16, and then got too much into what Bryson was doing and just kind of threw him a little bit out of rhythm. And with this one, when I talk about how hard it is to win golf tournaments, now, when you're in a situation with a 2-shot lead, it just seemed like so much had to go wrong unless Rory played poorly. And in this position, I would say that he missed 2 shots, right? Like the 15th hole, he had a second shot there that I felt like he had plenty of room to the left. I know missed shots happen, but it just seemed like that was the one place that you couldn't hit it. Ends up making a bogey there. It seemed like that was an avoidable bogey. So there's 1 shot. 16 hits an incredible 3-wood on that par 4 drivable and puts himself in a great position to make a birdie, and then goes to 17 where that second shot was giving guys problems the entire day. And this is where I'll bring in Rasmus, right? So he he was having a day in which everything was going right. Everything was going right. You know, the stuff that happens to guys on like Thursday morning, starting the tournament, they shoot 64 and everything went right. His happened to be on a Sunday afternoon within a couple shots of the lead. And where it really was, it was on the 14th hole for Rasmus. On the same hole where Rory flags an iron shot, comes up like 25 feet short on this par 3 14th hole, Rasmus pushes it right into, I would call their primary rough, bounces out of it, and inside of 10 feet makes a birdie, and then now gets to 16, makes a birdie on that hole. So like you got a little bit of a lucky bounce and a fortunate break. And so now he's getting, you know, he's in that position now where he's got an opportunity to win. Can he put the pressure on and post a score? Gets up and down out of the bunker on 16. 17, hits a very poor shot into the left bunker that seemed like, when Højgaard said later, he said, I thought it was going to plug. I get up there, it was on enough of an upslope and hits just the most darling bunker shot you've ever seen. Goes in the middle of the flagstick. I took a screenshot, and you could even see the ball from behind the view of the bunker because this ball is literally in the middle of the stick. And so that was it turned out that to be the difference in the golf tournament, right? So Rory plays, I think, the 17th hole the smart way. You know, this pin is tucked back in this small, narrow area. And it really takes a shot that if you're going to get it back there, you got to be very brave because, you know, missing in that left bunker most of the time is bogey. So you got to play short. So the difference is Højgaard gets it in this bunker, finds an okay lie, makes birdie. And then Rory from 30 feet putts it off the green, misses an 8-footer, and now has to make an eagle on 18, which it was a valiant effort. I mean, to drive it in that small area like he did, hits an 8-iron up there into that front left hole location. It was so hard to get it close, and gives himself an opportunity to make a putt, hit a good putt. And you just leave yourself like, I can't imagine when Rory saw what Højgaard did on how he made his birdies. He's just got to think to himself, you know what? Yes, I can look back at those 2 shots and I probably could have done better. And he should expect that from himself because that's what you have to do to close tournaments. And unfortunately, in this situation, I will say, I feel like Højgaard had a bit of luck on his side, and Rory just wasn't able to do the simple things on I wouldn't call the iron shot on 15 a simple shot, but something that I would say he regularly would be controlling his golf ball into an area to where he would make a par there. But I don't know, Charlie, it just leaves me in I see the comparisons now online that say, man, this reminds me a lot of Greg Norman during his prime. I didn't watch Greg Norman growing up as a kid, so it's hard for me to put that in perspective of is it similar, but I know Rory he's won a ton of times. He knows how to win golf tournaments. So I don't have an issue with it. It just seems like it's a much more of a recency thing.
Yeah, it is interesting where you opened, you know, your sort of thoughts on this, comparing it to the 2022 Open Championship and the 2024 US Open. Because if you think about it, there is elements of both in it. It's, you know, not to say that Cam Smith got lucky in St. Andrews in 2022. I mean, he made a very legit charge from behind to win it, but you had that sort of angle of Rasmus Højgaard finishing with 3 straight birdies to kind of, you know, slingshot himself around Rory. And then you had the, you know, in the same way that at the US Open, you know, that 16th hole where he leaves that putt behind the hole and has a comebacker that's, you know, a tricky one. The way he putted 17 to just, you know, I know he wanted to make a run at it up the hill to give himself a chance to make a birdie and really kind of extend that lead and win in style. But just to leave it where he did, 8 feet coming back is just, you know, it's inexcusable. And so it's a tough loss. And I wonder, it's an interesting one because it's a fall season event. It's an off season event, so to speak. So I think in most people's minds, you'd say, is it really that big of a deal? But obviously this one is maybe the nearest and dearest to Rory's heart because it's his national open.
Yeah, it is. It would be like you going to play the Wyndham Championship, me playing the Zurich Classic. It's the event that you want to win the most. It's where you grew up, right? Like this is the tournament, the venue too. Like, this is when Royal County Downs shows up, you're like, man, that would be a really cool place to win. And unfortunately for Rory, he wasn't able to get it done, but you had to just love, as a viewer, just having a golf course as good as this.
Oh, it's so good.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Sports Grid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on Sports Grid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
New to the LIV Golf Plus app. Watch LIV Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch LIV Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Jon Rahm.
Good news, by the way.
Okay, tell me.
Golden Tate is good to record, so we should have a Golden Tate in our feeds this week. So that'll be nice.
Live update on the pod. So that means you guys have some Scotty Scheffler pickleball stories to look forward to. So do not miss that one. That's going to be electric. So, well, fantastic. So bumping over to LIV now, we got Jon Rahm. Jon Rahm wins this individual championship, his second win in his last 3 events, which this is a sort of an interesting one to discuss because really, I think as recently as post-Open Championship, where he did finish top 10, he finished tied for 7th. But looking back at his major record this year, where he had to withdraw from the U.S. Open, misses the cut of the PGA, finishes tied for 45th at the Masters. We were asking questions as to, how does he feel about this year? If his goal was to go over and play well, LIV, I knew he was near the top of the individual standings at that point, but maybe hadn't won yet. And just saying, can he consider this a success? And then really ripped off a huge close of the season. He made $38.2 million this year, 34.7 as an individual. That's a shout out to our guy, Sean Lowry, bringing in the LIV stats and information, which, by the way, teed up with Sean Lowry out of Trayburn this last week.
I don't know if it's just you. Like, I just don't care how much money they make. Like, that's like, if there's one thing about any of this, it's about more money that they're making. None of that is of interest to me.
Well, it's more so just an illustration of this, what it is silly money. It's hard to even compare that to, is that good? Is that bad? It's a lot.
Well, let's just compare it to the NFL, dude. I mean, even what Scotty made this year, I think what the Saudis have done is totally inflate the golf market because it's not sustainable. But this LIV golf model is, if they did not have everybody knows this, if they didn't have Saudi-backed PIF on all this, that none of this would be even possible. It's make-believe. We'd still be on the PGA Tour. And that's where I just get still just so annoyed by just when I hear what these players will say about, we need to get back together and this and that. It's like, dude, you have hit the absolute lottery because it's just fairy tale land.
Yeah, you're not going to get a disagreement from me on any of that. I think the thing that's probably most frustrating from a viewer perspective or a fan perspective is that we're at this sort of impasse between two sides that are both doing something that feels unsustainable, but unwilling to try to kind of find some way to kind of make it work. And because it's just, I think in the absence of trying to find something that makes it work, the future's not going to be great for pro golf. Like there just has to be a way to kind of get this thing. Yeah. And I don't know who caves first on that and who has the longer lead, because you look at the PIF and seemingly having, as much money as they want to, given their reserves, but how much of that is actually being set aside and going into this LIV product? It's anyone's guess. And then on the tour side, it's like you had this group of investors that's injected a ton of cash, and we're talking about ways we're going to innovate, and a lot of that's been done. We're kind of trying out new products. I love that. In addition to the TGL and things like that, we're also trying things out like the Creator Classic to lean into some of these younger demos, and probably doing more of that in the future. Like at least we're trying some stuff there, but I don't think that money's endless either. And so it's just, when do we run out on either side, and whose hand is kind of forced to come to the table and bring it back together? Because can you have two products like this forever? I don't think so.
Well, I would probably argue that still I feel like LIV is in a better position, because I think money still wins in most everything, right? Money will always win. And I think both sides need each other, but I think the tour long-term needs players, top level players that draw more eyeballs and more viewers. And I think that's, to me, where I think the tour kind of has to probably concede first in all this.
Yeah, it's I tend to agree with that. And this is taking us a little bit away from the topic itself, which is kind of attempting to recap, the LIV. But I think it's all part of the conversation. So just to quickly run through it, because it's worth mentioning, you got Rahm finishes first in the individual standings, Joaquin Niemann second. How about Sergio Garcia? Third, had a really good year. Some interesting kind of notables in here. You got, Tyrrell Hatton fourth, Brooks Koepka fifth, Cam Smith seventh, Bryson eighth, Taylor Gucci year after kind of playing incredible. If you're not a captain and you finish between 25th and 48th, you could be traded, you could be replaced on your team. So, names in that list that are interesting are Peter Uline's in there, Graham McDowell, Thomas Peters, Charles Howell III. I'm naming all the non-captains because the captains are, of course, safe in that zone. Caleb Surratt in his first year over finishes in that zone. He kind of made waves in the past of saying, I'll just do the team ownership thing. But if he can't play on LIV and he can't get his status back on tour, unless he kind of tries to qualify through this international series, re-qualify back in, which I don't think he'd do, this is kind of it, right?
I don't know. I still am trying to figure out how this whole thing works. I guess Bubba could get re-signed by somebody.
But he's his own captain. It's like such a strange thing. It's like he I guess theoretically owns the franchise, but
to me, it would probably, he would get into the TV side, would be my guess. He'll probably be in some way, shape, or form involved with LIV telecast, whether it's an analyst or an on-course guy. I don't know. He just didn't seem like, to me, of all of like the guys that are getting older, to be the like guy that wants to quit and loses his game the fastest. Does that make sense? Like,
100%.
It feels like he always had the length, creativity. Like, he seemed to me like a player that would like age more like a fine wine, I guess, with his game.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's 45 years old, which isn't young, but it's younger than Phil Mickelson. And that's a guy who I thought was going to hang him up, and Mickelson has still made his own sort of waves about considering retirement if he's not playing well. He finished 46th this year, so he was just 3 spots above that drop zone where, I guess, technically the way they've written it, even as a captain this year, he could have been relegated and booted off his team. So maybe see both those guys. Yeah. I
mean, Phil being involved with the broadcast, it's if LIV is able to get a really good TV, like a TV deal with Phil Mickelson, Bubba Watson on the like, I think that starts to elevate what they're doing.
It's a new era in CFP to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was
Lincoln!
But he had that program was already going there.
Only on Sports Grid.
Talk about your freshman year at Alabama and even the redshirt year that got you ready to perform at the highest level.
You had to learn a lot about humility, about being patient to play at Alabama, and you still knew that you're going to have a shot to win a championship every year. And so that's the line. And so I think like that's what's really missing with today's football. You got NIL, you got social media.
The Early Line. Only on Sports Grid.
Everyone had him rookie of the year, offensive player of the year. Bears are going to the Super Bowl. Eberflus coach of the year. He was terrible.
If he's going to be success, he's got to play within structure as much as possible. I get it. If the pocket breaks down, throw off the platform. That's fine. But within structure, when the play is there to be made, you need to make it, and he didn't do that.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on Sports Grid.
147 yards against the Jets and a touchdown? I mean, the numbers are incredible.
It's the Shanahan connection, and that's just what it feels like. And, Jordan Mason came into that game with a career 5.6 yards per carry. He's always been a very tough runner. He's always been good when called upon in small doses. You mentioned the yardage, which was impressive, but 28 carries. That's what I'm looking at.
Newswire. Only on Sports Grid.
And that's a perfect segue into our final topic of the pod, which is, of course, it's the Procore Championship and a huge win for Patton Kizzire. Awesome to see him get back and win. But, obviously part of this discussion is going to center on the guys who played in this event that are going to be headed to Montreal for the President's Cup. So Patton's win, man. I mean, what are your first? I know this is a guy that very well, and
a long time, man.
Yeah. So your thoughts on this one, your reflections on him getting it done.
Well, with Patton, right? Like he's been a player that, since he graduated Auburn, he's always been, at every stage very good, right? He's a player that's tough, super competitive, hot tempered at times, but an incredible putter, an incredible dude, and just works his tail off. And I have a lot of respect for guys like that know what they want to do. And I think with Patton, it was summed up so well last year after he didn't get his card back, finished outside the top 125. And when I went back and listened to that audio, which we're about to play, I just felt like, man, he had to battle this entire year when you don't know where you're going to be playing, when you're going to be playing, and teeing it up. It's not easy. And I think coming into this FedEx Cup fall at 132, he's got to find a way into the top 125 to have status for the following year. So he had to go play well. And Patton has been a player that when he gets it, when he just drives it decent, he's a good enough iron player, and he's an incredible putter. And that's what happened this week is his ball striking showed up. And we saw him win this golf tournament by 5 shots. He's now a 3-time PGA Tour winner. We're going to see him at the Century later this year. And I think Theegala is going to have a heck of a President's Cup.
Yeah.
I just keep getting that feeling with him. And then talking with Tom Kim, by the way, this week, he just said the golf course is pretty narrow from when they did that scouting trip. He thought it was a little soft, and there was some rough out there. So that was something interesting too, just getting a sneak peek with Tom Kim, having a little conversation with him on Royal Montreal.
Yeah, over a glass of Pappy, perhaps. That you want.
I'm not opening that, man. I'm going to keep that.
You're going to keep that? How long are you going to keep that? What's your play on that? Is that just kind of sit on a shelf for a while?
That's a Christmas drinker type of thing. Maybe get drink with father-in-law, dad, brother-in-law, that type of deal. Just open it. Everybody kind of enjoyed sipping on that deal.
Okay. All right. There you go. And for Tom Kim, it's just a really nice ornament in his house. We are, Kylie, close to an hour and a half in. We've covered a lot of golf here. Any final thoughts you want to leave the good people with, Smylie, before I think the next time you're going to tune into this feed is when we're going to hear about Scotty Scheffler playing pickleball. So that's the tease I'm going to leave you with.
You heard most of it. I mean, Golden will he'll definitely just be able
to add some color.
Yes, definitely so. But I'll check your text messages, Charlie, because I sent you a picture of Patton Kizzire, and I think you need to pull that up on the way out. And I just want to send, again, more congratulations to Patton. He's been very good to me over the years. Even times with struggle, he was always a guy that would put his arm around my shoulder and tell me how, just like we're doing right here, put his arm around my shoulder. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see Patton's sick hair and you can see my duckbill hat. But yeah, always been somebody that always looked up to the guy, and he's always been a good friend of me. So our Francie and I love the Kizzires, and we couldn't be more happy for Patton. It seems like this is the hump to get over now that he can set himself up now to be able to go and play more comfortably out on tour and hopefully build off of a great week here this week in Napa.
What is the age difference here? Because either you're pre-growth spurt or
I'm like 12, 13 division. He's 17, 18 division.
Oh, okay.
Would be the thing here.
Much more understandable. More understandable. It's like, man, this guy is he missed his calling. Should have been playing basketball, but that makes a lot more sense.
He's a big man. If you've never seen Pat in person, he's a big old boy. He looks put him solid. And Ernie Els next to each other. They look about the same size.
Oh, I like that comp. That's good. Well, there you go. That's about a wrap for us this week. And yeah, we teased what's coming up next, and then we're going to be off to Tobacco Road to record some stuff on Wednesday that you should just make sure you're subscribed to that YouTube, because that's going to be some fun stuff coming soon. If we don't get rained out, seen that forecast? Bring some rain gloves.
Okay. Is it that bad?
It's we'll get there when we get there. But
okay.
We appreciate you watching and listening as always, and we will talk to you back here very soon.